I'm standing in Singapore right now, and there's a feeling here that settles into some people faster than others. You can see it before anyone says a word. In how they walk, in how they wait, in how little they seem to question what's happening around them. For Indonesians, this feeling often arrives quietly, almost unnoticed. For Americans, it usually takes longer, sometimes much longer. I'm watching people move past me on the sidewalk. No one is weaving. No one is stopping suddenly. Everyone seems to know where they're going, even if they're not in a hurry. This kind of flow doesn't need instructions. It doesn't ask for agreement. It just exists. And that's where the difference begins. But this is where it starts to feel different. I pause near a crossing. The light is red. The road is empty. No cars. No sound. Still, nobody steps forward. For someone from Indonesia, this moment feels normal. Waiting doesn't feel like weakness here. It feels shared. For Americans, moments like this often trigger a calculation. Is it necessary to wait? Is anyone watching? I'm noticing how no one here seems to need an audience for good behavior. The system doesn't depend on enforcement. It depends on participation. This is the part most people don't notice. Comfort in Singapore isn't emotional. It's procedural. You don't feel welcomed loudly. You feel accommodated quietly. Indonesians tend to recognize this quickly. They've lived inside systems where harmony matters more than expression. Americans often arrive expecting warmth to be visible. Smiles, small talk, signals. Here, reassurance doesn't come that way. It comes through predictability. I'm watching how people queue at a small shop. The line bends gently around the corner. No one checks how long it is. They just join it. For Indonesians, this feels familiar. Queues are part of life. Waiting together isn't uncomfortable. For Americans, waiting is often framed as lost time. Something to optimize. Something to escape. Here, time doesn't feel stolen. It feels neutral. And then I realize something else. Singapore doesn't try to convince you it works. It just keeps working. There's no announcement. No explanation. You either align with it, or you feel friction. I'm noticing how people adjust themselves instead of challenging the environment. They lower their voice. They shift their bag. They step aside. These adjustments happen without discussion. For Indonesians, this kind of self-adjustment is instinctive. They grew up reading rooms before speaking. For Americans, self-adjustment often feels like self-suppression. And that discomfort takes time to dissolve. I'm walking past a public space where people are sitting close together. Not touching. Not distant. Just close enough. The balance is precise. Indonesians usually find this balance quickly. They don't overthink it. Americans often notice the closeness first. Then they notice the silence. Then they wonder what's expected of them. This is where the city quietly tests you. Singapore doesn't ask you to express yourself. It asks you to observe yourself. How loud are you? How much space do you take? How quickly do you react? Indonesians arrive already fluent in these questions. They've lived inside layered social expectations. Americans often come from environments where clarity is external. Rules are stated. Boundaries are spoken. Here, boundaries are felt. I'm noticing how mistakes are handled. Someone hesitates too long. Someone steps slightly out of place. No confrontation. No embarrassment. The correction happens through atmosphere. Indonesians recognize this immediately. They understand indirect feedback. Americans often look for verbal correction. When it doesn't come, uncertainty lingers. This city doesn't explain itself. It reflects you back to yourself. This is the part where adaptation really begins. I'm walking now, letting the city move around me, and I can feel how different people carry themselves within it. Indonesians tend to soften quickly. Their shoulders drop. Their movements slow. Americans often stay alert longer. Scanning. Assessing. Not because they're uncomfortable, but because they're used to negotiating space. Here, Space is already negotiated. I stop near a public transport station. People arrive early. They wait quietly. No one is testing the system. No one is trying to outsmart it. For Indonesians, this trust feels natural. Institutions may not always be perfect, but collective order is familiar. For Americans, trust often needs verification, proof, transparency. Singapore doesn't offer reassurance in that language. It offers reliability instead. And then I notice something subtle. No one here seems in a hurry to be seen. Appearance feels secondary to function. People dress simply, move efficiently. Indonesians tend to blend into this easily. They don't feel pressure to announce themselves. Americans often come from cultures where visibility equals value. Standing out matters. Here, standing out isn't punished. It's just ignored. That can feel unsettling. I'm passing by a group interacting briefly. Few words. Clear outcome. No emotional residue. This kind of interaction feels comfortable to those used to reading tone over words. It feels abrupt to those who rely on verbal affirmation. Neither approach is wrong. But only one aligns immediately here. This is where Singapore starts to feel like home for some. Not because it's welcoming in an obvious way, but because it doesn't demand performance. Indonesians often stop translating themselves early. They don't feel the need to explain their presence. Americans tend to translate longer. They look for cues. They wait for validation. Singapore rarely offers that directly. It offers structure instead. I'm standing still again, watching the flow continue without me. And the city doesn't react to my pause. It doesn't hurry me. It doesn't notice me. For Indonesians, this anonymity feels comfortable. Freedom without attention. For Americans, invisibility can feel unfamiliar, sometimes unsettling. This is where expectations quietly collide. I notice how people end interactions. No lingering. No ritualized goodbyes. Efficiency without coldness. Indonesians recognize this balance. They don't need emotional closure for every exchange. Americans often expect more signaling, more clarity. Here, clarity is assumed. The city trusts that you'll keep up. I'm walking into a quieter street now. Less movement, more space. And even here, the same rhythm holds. No sudden shifts. No unpredictability. For Indonesians, this consistency feels grounding. For Americans, it can feel flat. But flat isn't empty. It's just quiet. This is the part people misunderstand. Singapore doesn't replace your identity. It slows it down. And for people already used to adjusting themselves within a collective, that slowdown feels like relief. For people used to projecting themselves outward, it can feel like resistance. Neither reaction is wrong. They're just responses to the same environment. I stand here a moment longer, letting that thought settle. There's more happening beneath this surface. More nuance in how different people arrive, adapt, and eventually relax into this place. And this difference doesn't disappear overnight. It reveals itself slowly. Through posture. Through patience. Through silence. Singapore doesn't tell you when you belong. You feel it when the city stops pushing back. And that moment arrives sooner for some than others. There's still more to notice here. More layers in how people from different places learn to move with this rhythm. And if this kind of quiet observation resonates with you, you'll find more of it on this channel. Because this city always shows you something new, once you stay still long enough to let it.